what is biomagnetism, right? Um, in effect, it's a alternative health-based therapy similar to Reiki or sound healing or acupuncture. It's in that same sort of realm where it's like it's not formally recognized by the traditional medical system, so insurance won't cover it. Yeah, so basically, I have a whole stack of magnets that are very strong and they're attuned to your body's specific magnetic field, right? And then I do this thing called muscle testing, right? And then I ask your body a bunch of yes or no questions, and I get a couple of very discrete yes or no answers. Then, based off of those answers, I go through my manual and I see what's body systems, like what organ systems in your body need the most help that on that certain day, right? Because in effect what the magnets do, right, is they restore the pH in the localized area that they're in. They restore the pH of the water because you're by weight you're like 70% water, right? And by molecular volume you're like 99% water. So um, anything that affects the water around you or in your body is going to play like a big impact in your health, right? So that's what the magnets do, right? Is like the most popular one is like, or one of the top one that comes to my head is like the two that go on your adrenals, right? And so right above your kidneys, and in effect it helps your adrenals work for like, it helps the cells do their function, it helps the water stabilize better. It just, I'm not going to get into it, but no negatives, right? Um, the caveat is I can't keep them on for longer than 20 minutes, right? Because in effect, what's happening, right, is you're giving your organs like a chance to rest, right, and actually like function at like 100% for like the first time in forever, right? So I have to be careful to not overdo it, right? So I'm always going to err like way on the side of safety, right? Because the only real there's only two risks here, right? Um, One is if like if you're like really like backed up with like a lot of stuff that your body has like never like touched or like had the chance to like address, and if I like overshoot it and like do way too much, which there's like a lot of checks and balances to make sure that I don't go way overboard, right? So that's one of the risks, right? And the other risk is if you're not having like adequate like bowel movements, I don't want to work with you. Go correct that, then come back to me, right? Because it's a risk for both of us, right? Because you go into the bathroom, like taking a shit, right? That's like the biggest way that your body like gets rid of stuff, right? Or in this case, when I like slap a bunch of magnets on you, it enables your body to move out a lot of stuff like from your like that's like trapped in your lymphatic system. It circulates its way through you, and then it needs to find a way out. So if you're not having adequate bowel movements, it just gets stuck there, which like in your colon, right? And like the huge like bacterial load that just got released, right? That's a problem if it stays there for longer than a day or two, right? Because you'll have that load plus the like another new load, and it's a risk for both. Like you can possibly get sick, and then you can come after me saying like, oh, this hippie, like he messed me up, and then you can bring down the whole hammer of the medical system on me, right? So I don't want that, right? Um, but yeah, fixing your bowel movements, that's a whole nother that's like fucking like 30-minute video. But the the best, like the first piece of advice for that, right? This is, I'm no longer talking about biomagnetism. You kind of got the gist of it, right? Where I just slap a bunch of magnets all over your body. Like at one point, like one of the sessions I went to, I had like fucking like 30 magnets slapped all over my forehead and like my nose and my all over the place, right? So it varies day by day, like what where the magnets are gonna go. And the sessions are spaced out like about you can't come in more than once every 2 weeks, right? Because again, that's another risk. Like it'll every time you come in, it kind of creates like a new like load for your body to actually to like deal with and fight off, right? Of viruses and bacteria, right? That are stuck in you. And if we try to like go overboard and go like every single day, you're just gonna end up in the hospital. I don't want that. And so typically as biomagnetism practitioners, we want to like keep it like your health, your healing crisis beneath a 2 out of 10, right? So say like a 1 out of 10 is just straight chilling, right? A 10 out of 10 is you're in the damn ER, right? We want to keep it beneath a 2 out of 10, right? Yeah, because you just by the nature of this, like you're gonna like feel worse for maybe a day, day and a half, but typically people don't feel like they might have some like symptoms of like a runny nose or like a headache or something, but then from that point onward, you typically feel like significantly better, right? The case for me is just typically what would happen for me is I'd have like I could feel my heart beating like a lot louder like for the first day after. Then like I'd usually get like a lot deeper sleep and my dreams would be like a lot more vivid, right? And another video for another time. But one of my first like people that I practiced on, he tends to get like a lot of really good sleep after his sessions. So I'll save that video for later. But yeah, so the way it works, right? You pretty much just come into my place, or I go to your place. I'll charge extra for that, but I will do that. You lay down on a massage table with all your clothes on, right? And because the magnets are strong enough to like go through all your clothes, right? And then I do muscle testing for about a couple minutes, and then I start slapping magnets all over you, and then you just chill out for 20 minutes. I take them all off. Then a very key point is you got to wash your toothbrush and your cup and your water bottle with hydrogen peroxide, because now the bacteria that's been like on your toothbrush and your water bottle is no longer the same that's found within you, right? So you can end up like 90% or 95% of people are infected with like Epstein-Barr virus, which is just it ends up it's just like another low level like stressor that almost everybody's dealing with at this point, right? And after the first few sessions, typically it gets cleared out, right? But if you don't like wash your like thoroughly clean all your stuff, you're just gonna keep getting reinfected. I'm gonna have to like keep doing the same thing over and over, and we're like progress is gonna be like a lot slower, right? For getting you from feeling whatever you're at, from like I guess like a 3 or 4 out of 10 to feeling closer to a 10 out of 10. There's no way I can like bring anybody to a 10 out of 10, even myself. Like living in fucking America, because there's just so much environmental toxicity that you're dealing with on a like you can't escape it, right? Yeah, but the one. So one of the other big points, right, that I was making is if I think everybody should do this, right? But like even especially if you're like one of my clients and you're like not having good bowel movements, like the first thing I would troubleshoot is like how your water quality is, right? If you're just like drinking out of the tap, you're fucking up. Unless you're living on a farm that you keep really good tabs on your water and like you test it and you know that it's clean, you're fucking up, right? Brita filters don't do shit, right? So they pretty much only remove like the smell of chlorine. They don't actually remove the chlorine. They just remove the smell of it. So you're still dealing with all like the heavy metals and all the BS from the water. If you're not adequately hydrated, your body's just gonna pull water from your digestive system, right? So it's gonna pull the water from your feces, right? So that's just gonna get stuck there, and it's it's just the problem keeps stacking upon itself. So if you my biggest recommendation, I shit post about it on my Instagram quite often, is go to this website called findaspring.com or .net. I'll link it in the comments, or the description. Then go and start harvesting actual legitimate spring water, right? Um, I know in South Florida, there's like where I'm at right now, like there's like nothing there. But in the Northeast near Boston, there's like two main spots. I go to a place near Billerica, and I bring my, I bring about, well, I bring these two big glass jugs and a third smaller one. So in effect, I fill up like 15 gallons of water every time I go there, right? And that usually lasts me like a week and a half or 2 weeks, right? Just doing that alone and following none of my other advice, right, is a rather huge game changer, right? Because it ends up you're no longer consuming a damn fluoride that's in all the freaking water, which most filters do not remove, right? Um, so once you stop doing that, it you kind of you stop being as much of a like so much of a like deadbeat bum when you actually like stop consuming so much fluoride. Um, Another video for another time, but that's a huge topic. But anyhow, that's sort of the vibe or the gist of what you'll expect from coming to my little hippie clinic workshop place, in my house, right? And I'm gonna vet people rather like I just don't want this to be going to like everybody, while I still don't have like my own like little shop that's outside of home because it's kind of risky like inviting people just straight over to my house. Um, yeah. So I'm gonna keep this low key. It's only to people that I know. In the future, when I actually start, if I gain enough traction and make enough money, then I'll open up my own little shop away from home. And the kind of like the pipe dream at the end of this is to like open up a place really close by to the beach. Because like you see in my video, I'm outside right now too. I'm literally at the beach, right? Um, I think that's like an even bigger like ROI on fixing your health. Like gives you a bigger one than you could possibly get from going to me. It's just like going to the beach every single day. But I know that's like out of reach for most people. Um, but yeah, I'm kind of rambling now at this point. Hope you got the gist. I'll have to make more videos. The next one I'll probably talk about what it was like, or what my first little client was like. His experience was. So yeah, my first YouTube video, by the way. So don't hate too much. Thanks.